Hello, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast for Villa AM for Monday, the 17th of August. And I want to do a small bit of a different kind of a vibe today. This is going to be tough. I'm going to try to do an idiot's guide described by an idiot with stuff that I'm not even 100% sure is factual with regards to SCR. But bear with me. It's completely my first time doing this. I don't know. And I want you guys to give me your feedback, if any of you are financially minded, with regards to where my rudimentary numbers, and remember, they're very rudimentary and they are very, very basic numbers, fall apart. So please do that. But before we get into this, some news has come across that, as we all know, Jacob Ramsey has gone north. He's now a Newcastle player, 39 million with 5 million in add-ons as well. And he has been presented as a Newcastle player. And also, Leandro Dendoncker has moved to Real Oviedo on a free transfer where it doesn't look like we've had to tear up his contract and pay him off. Looks like he's just gone on a free transfer and we get to save his wages. And what does that mean? I hear you say, well, let's find out what the potential ramifications on SCR are from these two moves, plus two further moves that I think will probably end up panning out between now and the off-season finishing. So first of all, what is SCR? This is an idiot tries to figure it out. So I am not very financially literate, but I'm going to try and figure this out. This has been something that I wanted to put out here, and you guys can tell me where I'm wrong, and we can have a group discussion, I suppose, in the comments amongst it together. So first of all, I'm going to move this way, I think. Yes, because a lot of my graphics will be in the way. So firstly, SCR basically takes into account two specific areas. The first one is squad cost, which is made up by these three pieces here, which are employee benefit expenses are relevant for relevant persons, which covers all gross remunerations with regards to wages, bonuses, everything like that. It excludes costs for youth players, female players, or non-squad staff. And it also, termination players, payments for players or head coaches are also actually included with regards to that. It also includes amortization as well, which accounts for the depreciation of transfer fees over the player's contract duration. Like, for example, 100 million transfer over 5 years amortizes at 20 million per year, that kind of a thing. And also, it includes agents' fees and intermediate costs as well, that are included in this too. So what else is taken into account? So adjusted revenue, or the denominator, I suppose, really with regards to the revenue statistics, and what that comes in as adjusted operating revenue, which is the sum of gate receipts, all basically your intakings as well, which can be adjusted based on UEFA rulings as well. And go and read what that is, because it'll take me the full 8 minutes to describe what that is in itself. And then plus your net profit / loss on disposal of player registrations or other transfer incomes or expenses as well. So essentially, this is the revenue part. The other part is what constitutes a squad cost. And I'm not going to get this done in 8 minutes. So this is going to be a bit of a longer Villa AM, I think. So let's take the 2024 numbers that we know of at the moment. So 2024 numbers, adjusted SCR wage to revenue, was initially reported at being 96%, but when that was adjusted to be a 12-month financial year as opposed to a 13-month financial year, which Villa did extend the financial year, it was readjusted back to about 88%. So keep that in your mind, because that was 88% on a revenue of £267 million. Okay, we're going to just work with that number, 276 million pounds. The reason we're going to work with that number is because that's the number we know at the moment. All these numbers are airy-fairy, but it gives you an idea of a rough calculation that potentially you could do here to try and see how potentially Villa could end up with maybe one or two big name loan signings at the end of the year. Or at the end of the transfer window. Now, once again, this is very hypothetical and it is skewed on the optimistic side as well. I completely understand that too. So here we go. So 4 players that we've shown here. Alex Moreno, who is yet to go, but I do imagine will go in some way, shape, or form. He's on 35,000 per week per Capology, and Capology is extremely flawed, but that's all we have to go on. So it's a one standard. We're going to take the numbers for there for good or for bad. We've Jacob Ramsey, who's just left. He was on 70 grand a week as per Capology. Leandro Dendoncker, 90 grand a week as per Capology, and Mr. Leon Bailey on 120 per week as per Capology. That equates to a per week saving of 315,000 per week. And also the incoming monies, obviously we don't know if there will be a fee from Moreno or not, so I've left that out. So what we actually know is Leandro Dendoncker gone on a free. Alex Moreno, if he was to, let's say, go on a free or just go on loan, we don't know any fee, but the fees we know are £39 million for Jacob Ramsey. Once again, we don't know the payment structure, so I haven't taken that into account. So I've just put the big number in there. And Leon Bailey's £4 million fee. And I completely understand that big number would reduce this, but this is just the numbers we know. And it's a very basic calculation as well. So 43 million in fees and 315,000 per week in wage savings. So that would then equate to a savings percentage with regard to the 276 million revenue in 2024. So this would be the wage savings will come in at 5.934%. So that is that would be the savings there when you aggregate out the 315k per week, comes in at roughly about 16.4 million per year over a 52 week year. That comes in at 5.934%. of what our SCR, our percentage, will be towards the 276 million. Then also, when we take into account the 43 million in fees will be considered, would equate out to 15.58%. We have a total savings of 21.5% from selling these 4 players for wages and fees earned. From our 2024 revenue, the savings would equate to 21.5%, which is quite good. And that would give us an adjusted SCR wage. I've put in here the SCR wage to revenue, but you know what I mean. SCR percentage to revenue would now be gone from 88% down to 66.49% with a target of 70%. Now, I know this is incredibly basic, the way I've done this, and there are different parameters in here, but this is just, it's trying to do it as quick as I can. As I say, it's an idiot trying to explain it to himself more so than anything else, me being the idiot. So that will bring us down to 3.51% underneath our 70% target. Now, UEFA have also said that this year, we need to come in the sanction that they delivered, we need to come in at 5 million. We need to spend 5 million less than our revenue. So then our 70% revenue. So we have to have a buffer zone of 5 million. Okay. So when we take that into account, that 5 million, based on the 276 million that we had previously for revenue, equates to 1.18%. So taking that into account, what we would then be able to do is we would be able to, our adjusted SCR would be equal to 2.33% of buffer zone that we would have currently now, which would equate to 6.43 million. And then would also equate to £123,669 per week that we could offer in wages to a player. So that would be one loan. Now, do we need to take that 5 million out of what we already have? This isn't taking into account any lower wage, any fees for Alex Moreno. Potentially we get a fee for him if we got 3 million for him. None of this takes into account the payoffs and the savings. Do the payoffs and the savings equate to an actual saving for Coutinho? We don't know that either. And none of this takes into account the reduced wages for Mings and Donyell that they have taken. Does that equate? Could they all build up to that 5% to that 5 million that we need to stay under? And if that is the case, when we would do another quick calculation on that, and I did have this here a moment ago, but my calculator has all but packed up. We would, if we were to add that back in, we would be able to spend, we would have a piggy bank of £196,300 in wages that we could spend. So essentially 200 grand in wages that we could spend. And if we were to bring in 2 loan signings on 100 grand a week, that is something that we could do and still stay right to the buffer of SCR and the 70% of SCR based on the really rudimentary numbers that I've used here and completely no caveats or anything involved here. But this is a potential pathway to maybe signing 2 players on loan, essentially, to replace Jacob Ramsey, to replace Leon Bailey, the 2 starters in our squad. Now, where a defender comes from, I don't know. And this is obviously, I 100% understand that this is optimistic. And it's very rudimentary. It's very, very basic. But when we're thinking about the business that we're doing now, Villa are looking to stay within SCR, number one, because they have to. And second of all, they're looking to exit that SCR sanction process earlier by staying that 5 million or more under the revenue level that they're supposed to that they would have in 2025 for the next reporting period. So we don't know what the revenue was for the past year within Champions League, or with regards to the sales of John Hedder Duran, or with regards to the sales of any of those guys. So we don't know what those numbers are. So we don't know what Villa are working on. But if we take it back to first principles, or sorry, not first principle, but the only principle we know, I suppose, really at the moment, the last revenue calculation, the last set of accounts, 276 was or 275.97 or something like that, I think it was the magic number that we needed to equate to. And if we do just take those numbers, and it's not exact, I completely understand, there is a pathway to getting to us having money to spend on loan, but not having money to spend 20, 30, 40, 50 million on two players to replace these guys that are gone. So once again, look, this is very difficult. Like it's been difficult for me to go through this because I'm not a numbers guy. From the point of view of money, I don't understand how money works very well. I don't understand amortization, which I haven't taken into account here or anything like that as well. But if you just do a rudimentary calculation of one number versus another, which may or may not be beneficial towards our SCR at all, but if you are a financial person and you do have your head around this, please get in contact with me and see if anything I've mentioned here bears any relevance at all. But what I wanted to do here is just a small bit of an exercise to see, was there any way that the common fan could make any determination whether we could get towards a situation where we could replace the two guys that are going out based on the rumours that we've seen previously of Asensio and potentially somebody like Leandro Trossard coming in, and was that actually a potential? I don't know if it's potential. The next 2 weeks will tell us whether we can bring those guys in or not. But I suppose I just want to know, was there a pathway to it? And based on the numbers, and I haven't fudged anything here, based on numbers that are available, and I don't know whether I've done the calculation correctly, there is a potential pathway towards that. So I'm not trying to give out false hope or anything. This is just me trying to get my mind around the new world of whereby we have to be a football fan with a calculator at all times. And it's pretty awful, to be honest with you, but it's the world that we do live in 2025. And Aston Villa fans, we are going to live in this world in 2025, in 2026, and potentially 2027 as well. So it's something that we do need to get used to and try and get our heads around. So if you are financially minded, follow me on Twitter, give me a DM on Twitter as well. Let me know if I'm talking sense or not here. Let me know if I even have the bare minimum understanding of this as well, because it's something I want to get to understand. And let me know if just let me know, because we do need, as a fan base, we need to understand where this is coming from, so that we don't get our hopes up, get too down, get too lows in the lower, get too highs in the high as well. So thanks so much everybody for watching. Hopefully this was some way educational, if that is the word I would use, further some way enlightening towards maybe understanding where SCR is. Go have a look at the numbers yourself and see if you can come up with a better understanding of them. But we'll be back again with another Villa AM tomorrow on Tuesday. So please stick around for that. We will go through all of the day's news and round it up too. So thanks very much everybody for watching and for listening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
It's Villa in the morning with Villa AM. It's Villa in the morning with